Hello everyone, my name is Dara Rath. I am the pastor at Faith Lutheran Church in Port Elgin, Ontario, Canada. And each week I bring you a story written by famous authors. And sometimes the stories are funny, sometimes the stories give you something to think about. And this story today, I love this story today. It's really interesting and wonderful. It's a story written by Tim Kimmel in a book called Flowers in the Wind by Reverend Robert Coos. This is a story about a woman named Catharine Laws, a woman who would become known to many as the warden's wife. In 1921, Sing Sing prison in New York State was known as one of the toughest prisons in the United States. That was the year when Lewis Laws became the new warden. Although Sing Sing had a notorious reputation for cruelty by the time Lewis Laws left the institution after serving there for 20 years, it had become a more humanitarian place. Many people who study prisons attribute the changes to Lewis Laws, but he insisted that the changes were due more to his wife than to himself. But he insisted that the changes, when people would give him credit for making the prison a more humane place, he would say, "I owe it all to my wonderful wife Catharine, who is buried outside the prison walls." Catharine was a mother with 3 young children when her husband Lewis became warden of Sing Sing. People warned her never to step inside the prison, for it was a very dangerous place. Catharine, however, did not listen to the people. When the first basketball game was held during Lewis's term, for example, Catharine insisted on attending the game with her children. She sat among the inmates. Catharine would explain to critics, "My husband and I are going to take care of these men, and I believe they will take care of me. I don't have to worry." Catharine also insisted on getting to know the men as people, not as prison numbers. For example, one day she visited a blind man who had been convicted of murder. She took his hand in hers and asked if he read Braille. When he said he didn't know what Braille was, she taught him how. Years later, he wept for his love for her. Another time, Catharine found a prisoner who was a deaf-mute. So Catharine went to school to learn sign language and then taught the prisoner. People said that from 1921 to 1937, Catharine made the body come alive in Sing Sing prison. Then one day, Catharine was killed in a car accident. The next morning, the warden didn't come to work, and the whole prison knew that something was wrong. The next day, Catharine's body lay in a casket at her home, 3/4 of a mile from the prison. The men gathered at the gate, tears streaming down their faces. The acting warden was shocked at the men's grief and sadness. Because he knew how much the men loved Catharine, he made a remarkable decision. He faced the men and said, "All right, men, you can go. Just be sure to check in tonight." He then opened the gate for the men of Sing Sing as they walked out without any guards. After walking the 3/4 of a mile to pay their respects to Catharine, they made their way back to Sing Sing, and every one of them returned. The story of Catharine is not only inspirational, it is also a fine example of the power of encouragement in human lives. Reverend Coos writes, "To encourage means to inspire others with courage, spirit, or confidence, and to promote someone's actions. Every human being, no matter how together or problem-free they may appear, seems to need encouragement from time to time. Encouragement is not just for children or for students or for young parents, or for adults starting a new career or job. It is for everyone. So as we continue along our life journey this week, it would be a good idea to reflect on our own lives and how do we encourage others. Who in our lives needs a little bit of encouragement at this point in their lives? So, some things to think about this week. So blessings on your day, and thanks for taking 5.